Hey Lionhearts, it's your old pal Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said well. I'm doing well. Today I want to do a vlog on one of the time periods that Marilyn Monroe was living in Burbank. Now, as a vlogger who does old Hollywood history and loves Marilyn Monroe, one of the things that I was kind of dumbfounded by when I started vlogging her, what, 4 years, almost 5 years ago, was how many different places she lived all over California. And I was just kind of shocked by this. So whenever I see a picture of her and it's somewhere that she supposedly lived, I just go, well, she lived everywhere, so it doesn't really tell that much of a story. But recently on the Valley Relics page, I saw that they posted a picture of her in the door frame of one of her homes that she lived in 1947 and 48. And I thought, you know, just out of curiosity, what was going on in her life during that time? So I started researching it and I said, you know what? That is a story worth telling. So today we're gonna go over, and the address has changed. The actual street name has changed. The number on the house hasn't, but the street name has changed since when she lived there. But I think I found the place, and I'm gonna tell you why this was an important time in her life. Daze with Jordan the Lion, it begins now. I really love this area. This is considered Burbank, but it's more like Toluca Lake. So to give you a little rundown about Marilyn Monroe's life before this, you would take it back to when she was Norma Jean Baker. She ended up getting married just a few weeks after she turned 16. Now the reason that was because she had a really tumultuous life before that. Her mother was a paranoid schizophrenic, and so she bounced around living in foster homes, and she also lived with foster parents, orphanages, and unfortunately many of the times that she would live in foster homes she would end up being molested. So that's why she would end up bouncing around so much. But in the end, when she was 15, she was going to Van Nuys High School, and the family she was living with were her basically they were her legal guardians at the time, the Goddards, and even the husband of Mrs. Goddard had molested Norma Jean. So basically what happened was, when she was 16, they found out that Mr. Goddard was being transferred to West Virginia, and at the time you couldn't take a foster child out of state lines. So she ended up, instead of going to an orphanage or another foster family, she decided to marry the next door neighbor, James Daugherty. Now they didn't have a whole lot in common, and for years they tried to make it work, but he was in the service, and while he was in the service overseas, she would actually start doing pin-up photos and calendars and things like that, because she wanted to be an actress. And so when she told him that that's what she wanted to do with her life, he didn't want her to do it, and so she decided to get a divorce in 1946. Now that same year, she signed with an acting agency who changed her name from Norma Jean Daugherty to Marilyn Monroe. And they sent her out to different studios for interviews, for screen tests, and she didn't do that well. But Fox decided to put her on a 6-month contract because they were worried that maybe RKO or somebody else would pick her up. So they put her in acting classes and tried to train her, at least preliminary things like dance, singing, acting, how they film things, just basically getting her accustomed to the business. And then when that came up due in February of 47, they decided to extend her contract. So in 1947, she moved into the house I'm going to show you and lived here for part of 47 and part of 48. Now at the time, Warner Boulevard would have actually been Roland Avenue. It's a really beautiful neighborhood. Always love this area. Still has the old lamp posts, signs of the times. So this little house right here, Marilyn moved into when she re-signed her contract in February, and what they did and changed things then with her contract was that instead of her just doing the preliminary acting schools, they sent her to the Actors Laboratory Theater where she could kind of refine it. And she said from the time she was little, she always wanted to be an actress because she loved playing pretend, because her normal real life was so bad. But she said it was during this time that she really got a taste for acting. And so that's really where she would study acting for the real first time, and would be monitored by the teachers there for 6 months. And they said that though she liked doing it and they put her in a couple of bit parts, the teachers there just never felt that she had the ability to be a star. She was just too shy. But they ended up canceling her contract in August of 47, and then she just started basically making friends with anyone she could find, hobnobbing with producers, and became friends with Sidney Skolsky. And he was a gossip columnist at the time, and he helped her get connected with other people. There's actually a photo, you can see her right up at that front entryway. The mailbox was the same then. I mean, it really looks similar to the way it did when Marilyn would have lived here. So she continued on in the acting school while she lived here and didn't give up, and apparently started also having an affair with Joseph Schenck, who was one of the studio heads at Fox. And then he was good friends with Harry over at Columbia, and Columbia gave her a contract and put her in a little bit more of a meatier role to see how she would do. And that's also when they dyed her hair. They bleached her hair out. They basically were trying to make her like a bleach blonde version of Rita Hayworth. But shortly thereafter, they ended up also thinking that she really didn't have much talent, and they ended up deciding to cancel her contract with Columbia as well. And yet, with all that happening in just a 2-year span living here, she still went on to be one of the most famous actresses of all time. So again, I'll show you her standing in that doorway. It's kind of eerie how similar that entryway is now, even from back then. Marilyn was always considered shy, so it's no surprise that when she was getting her footing in a real acting class that she would be even shyer. I knew Shelley Winters, and Shelley and Marilyn were best friends, and Shelley told me the same thing. She said, I took her to the actor's studio eventually later on in life, and even though she loved being there, she just could never break out of her shell. She was always worried about what other people were thinking, or that she wasn't good enough to be there. And also, while she lived here, the longtime acting teacher she had is when she hooked up with her from this time, from like 1948 till 1955 they worked together. So there's that mystery house Marilyn lived in. So this would have been right after she got a divorce from James Doherty. That's also why it's pretty historical. Married at the age of 16, and then at the age of 21 and 22 living here. Now, I don't know if Marilyn ever went there or not, but since it's only a couple of blocks away from the famous Bob's Big Boy, I think we should go there. So if you've seen a number of my vlogs and the name Sidney Skolsky sounds familiar to you other than just being a gossip columnist, it goes back to the story when we went out to where Shelley and Marilyn shared that apartment. Shelley was having breakfast or kind of like brunch in Schwab's drugstore, and Marilyn and Sidney came in, and that's where they started talking about how they should get an apartment together, and Sidney ended up hooking them up with that apartment. And here it is up here on the left. Can't miss that big sign, can ya? We'll have to do drive-through, but I want to get out for a minute and look at the big boy statue. Yep, here's our outdoor dining experience. It's been shut down for going on over a month now. So no outdoor, no indoor, only drive-through and pickup. You can see Big Boy right here with a crew of people waiting for their food. Yeah, he's trying to keep a smile on his face while he can. A lot of places around here, a lot of historic places have just completely closed altogether, but Bob's has at least stayed open the whole time. So, let's get some food. Actually, I decided to just go ahead and walk on in and place my order. I mean, at least this way I can kind of feel like I'm still at a real restaurant. David Lynch up there, Laura Dern. Oh, that's awesome. Here you can see a lot of superstars that come and eat here. Everyone from Danny Trejo to Drew Carey and Ringo. Speaking of Ringo and George over here. And John Paul. And I'm a huge fan of this guy. I want to do a vlog on his painting career soon. I just bought one of his lithographs. But I was saying, speaking of the Beatles, they have a Beatles plaque over here, like an honorary booth. There you go. Once you can't dine indoors, you seriously appreciate it more. I know that's beating a dead horse, but truly, it just doesn't feel like real life with an empty restaurant like this. But we can only do what we can do right now, right? And all we can do is takeout. One interesting thing that you may not know, unless you saw my vlog on it, is that right across the street from the Bob's Big Boy is Gary Marshall's theater. Famed director and producer Gary Marshall. Go check out my vlog when I went there, because there's a lot of really cool memorabilia inside there that I got to vlog. Like his Happy Days jacket and things like that. So now it's just a waiting game for the food to be ready. Even though they have no tables over here to dine, I did notice they have a couple of picnic tables that are literally in the cement over here on this little island, and some people were eating their food there. I might do that, because I don't know how that really would be much different than just eating right here on like a bus bench. Oh, I just noticed this. I've never seen this before. I don't know if this was a COVID thing or what, but he's now got love written across his knuckles. And what do you think's up here? Little Robert Mitchum action. Love and hate. Alright, our food is ready. And I think people are still showing up for classic car nights on Friday, so it's still worth a shot if you're in town. See, I saw some people eating over here, and you can get car hop service, so maybe we'll just eat right here. What did I get today? Big Boy and onion rings. That looks delicious. I actually grew up on the Frisch's Big Boy, which tastes a little bit different than the Bob's Big Boy, but they're both great. Bob's Big Boy bite time. Yeah, Bob's puts like a red relish you can see on the corner of my mouth right now. The one in the Frisch's uses like a tartar sauce. Amazing. Amazing! Gotta try the first one with no ketchup. We have ketchup. Seriously important to support local businesses while you can, especially while in Los Angeles, because Pink's is closed down for the next couple months. The 101 Cafe is shut down. One of the Swingers locations shut down, so gotta support them or they're gone. You know, it's funny to think about like a year ago or a little over a year ago, to think of like this as our dining experiences, sitting out at a kind of a dirty picnic table outside. That this would be a privilege you'd have never guessed, would you? Oh yeah, definitely a fantastic idea stopping here today. That is one filling burger, I'm telling you. Well, my friends, that is going to be the end of our adventure for today. You can't see Job because, well, his surrogate parents missed him and they asked if he could come over, and since he'll be moving not too long from now, I thought it made sense to let him go over there. So hope you all enjoyed this vlog. I hope you enjoyed our adventure today. See you all next time. Have a great night and goodbye.